Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Hello dear students, I hope you're all doing well. Welcome to another video from your Easy Chemistry for All YouTube channel. This is Mr. Muad, and before we continue guys, please share and subscribe to the channel if you hadn't done so, and share it with your friends. Put a like in the video so that many more students can hopefully find it and benefit bi'idhnillah from these videos. Thank you. So we are in the chapter of redox reactions, and we are going to start lesson 2, balancing redox reactions, and this lesson is going to be in two parts. So بيكون في فيديوين, part 1 and part 2. Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing well. So today inshallah we are going to start with lesson 2. Remember, we are still in chapter 5. Okay, redox reactions, right? Redox reactions. And today we are going to learn about balancing redox reactions. And you know what's the meaning of balancing, right? So it's like balancing a normal chemical equation. So we are going to be balancing redox equations. So we are going to be balancing electrons and substances, okay, because this is a redox reaction. All right, so let's go quickly through the learning objectives. We want to know the steps, learn the steps for balancing a redox reaction in an acidic medium. What does that mean? It means that the reaction happens in an acid where the pH is less than 7, okay? And then we will learn how to apply these steps using the half reaction method, okay, which we are going to see. We are going to do the same thing, but now for a basic solution where the pH is bigger than 7, and we will balance the equation or the redox reaction using the half reaction method as well. You are going to see everything throughout the PowerPoint presentation, inshallah. Okay, so again, just to let you know, this is from LMS, okay? These learning objectives will not be tested in the exam. Enrichment إثرائي يعني ما بيدش في الامتحان، okay؟ اللي هم لما شفت في الكتاب الانسباير، كتاب الانسباير كيمستري اللي عندكم من صفحة 165 إلى 168، okay؟ So هذا الجزء إثرائي يعني ما بنشرحه لأنه ما بيدخل في الامتحان. So we will go directly to the half reaction method, okay? So we are going to describe the steps for balancing redox reactions in an acidic medium by the half reaction method, and we will balance redox reaction in an acidic and basic mediums using the half reaction method. You will see what we mean. هذا الدرس كله عبارة عن balancing equations, balancing redox equations, okay? And the corresponding alif lesson for this section, section 2, is only lesson 43, which you can look at later, inshallah, after watching this PowerPoint. Okay? So, let's have a look at this reaction. This is a very nice reaction. هذا التفاعل جدا مثير للاهتمام. Reaction between copper, which is Cu, اللي هو النحاس, and nitric acid, اللي هو حمض, HNO3. Let's watch this video, okay, and see what happens in this reaction. طبعا القطعة المعدنية هي النحاس وبيضيفوا لها الأسيد. So they are going to be adding the acid now. Look what's happening. The color is changing, right? So there is a chemical reaction. Also notice the bubbles. Do you see the bubbles here? A lot of bubbles, right? Because in the products we have a gas. So the bubbles are of NO2. These are the bubbles, okay? The blue color or the blue-green color that's being produced is the ionic compound in an aqueous solution, CuNO3. Okay? See the blue color? This is CuNO3, the bubbles are the bubbles, and H2O is the liquid you have here. Okay? So why am I showing you this reaction? Because it's a very interesting reaction, okay? And what I want you to do now I want you to look at this equation. This is the equation that we saw in the video. أريدكم تحاولوا تعملوا لها وزن. أوزنوا المعادلة. Try to balance this equation. Okay? Try on your own. You can pause the video, stop the video, try on your own, and then come back. Okay? All right. So I know this was very hard. Okay? Because if we try to balance this, it's going to be very difficult. Why? Because look at oxygen on the left side here. We have oxygen here, here, and here. It's very difficult to balance. What does that mean? For example, let's look here. If we look at oxygen, we have 3 oxygens. In here we have 6, and we have 2, and we have 1. So 9, right? So let's put 3 here. صح? Now we have 9 oxygens here, yeah? And we have 9 oxygens here. Now look at N, nitrogen. We have 2 nitrogen here. So how can we balance that? Oh, we can do something. We can actually no, we have 2N in here, sorry, and we have another N here. So we have 3N, right? Now let's go to H. We have 3 H's here. Here we have only 2 H's, right? So what should we do? We should multiply this by 3 and this one by 2 for it to be 6, right? So now we have 6 hydrogen. We have 6 hydrogen. Now look at the oxygen. 6 times 3 we have 18 oxygen. وهني كم عندنا؟ 6 و2 و3. So 6 plus 2 plus 3 the oxygens is equal to 11. يعني if we want to answer this question, this will be the answer. It is very hard, right? It's super hard. It is super hard to balance this equation. So what should we do? How can we balance it? Okay, how can we balance it? We need to think, does a redox reaction happen here? خلنا نشوف. تذكروا إن redox reaction معناها oxidation or reduction، يعني change in oxidation number. تتذكرون oxidation number from lesson 1. Okay, so what's the oxidation number for Cu here? Oxidation number is 0. تتذكرون التيبل الجدول اللي فيه الرولز، أي عنصر بروحه oxidation number حقه يكون 0. Let's look here. هذا مركب أيوني، شحنة الCu فيه positive 2، فكان 0 وهني صار positive 2. تغير في الأوكسيديشن number, right? So there is a change. So because there is a change, so a redox reaction happens here. There is a change in the number of electrons, movement of electrons. Okay, اللي هو الدرس الأول. Now, because the answer is yes, we are going to use a method which is called the half reaction method. With our knowledge of redox reactions and oxidation numbers to help us in balancing this equation. It will help us to balance this equation, okay? All right. So, just some keywords that you have in page 169. In chemistry, species. So, species. I know it sounds like chilies, but no, or cheese or something, but no, this is called species. طبعا انتوا تعرفون انه في بعض المرات نكتب حرف، هذا الحرف تقريبا معناه حرف زي B بدل ما ننطق الباء B. Okay, that's why I put it here. Species, alright, is any kind of a chemical unit involved in a process. It's like saying substance. Okay, مادة موجودة في تفاعل كيميائي. Now, redox reactions happen whenever a species يعني مادة في تفاعل كيميائي okay, so let's okay, so yeah, so species معناها مادة في أي تفاعل كيميائي. Any species that can give up electrons comes in contact with another species that can accept them, meaning A needs electrons and B loses electrons. There will be a redox reaction, right? Because when you need electron, this is reduction, صح? And when you lose electron, it is oxidation. فإذا الاثنين تفاعلوا مع بعض, there will be a redox reaction, لأن واحدة منهم will be oxidized والثانية will be reduced. So a half reaction, لما أقول التفاعل النصفي, the half reaction is one of the two parts of a redox reaction. And you know what are the two parts of a redox reaction? هو oxidation, yeah, or reduction, right? So التفاعل النصفي is oxidation or reduction. Now the oxidation half or the reduction half اللي هو نصف الأكسدة أو نصف الاختزال. That's it. So that's the meaning of the half reaction. Okay. Now, of course, if you read this question, which is any kind of a chemical unit involved in a process, you know the answer is going to be a species, right? Because we just saw it in the previous slide here. Okay. Now, this is very important for you to remember, everyone, okay? You need to remember the charges of ions in ionic compounds. How can we know the charge? From the group. If the element is in group 1, the charge will be +1. If it's in group 2, the charge will be +2. If it's in group 13, the charge will be +3. Group 14, there's nothing. Usually, you will not be asked about this. 15, 16, 17, -3, -2, -1. So if I have something like Fe, okay, Cl3, so you remember, you should know that the charge of Fe here is going to be +3. What is Fe? It's here, right? Fe تقدر يكون عنده شحنة موجب 2 أو موجب 3. تكلمنا على هذا الكلام في الصف مرة من المرات. Cl شحنتها -1. فعشان نكون هذا المركب الأيوني نغير الأرقام. We change the numbers. And then you have Fe. الواحد ما نكتبه تحت. Cl3. فهذه الثلاثة هي شحنة Fe. So you will know that the charge of Fe in this compound FeCl2. لكن لو عندنا FeCl3. If we have FeCl2, the charges will be +2 and -1. So it will be FeCl2. فهذه الاثنين هي شحنة ال Fe. فعلى حسب ال Fe موجود في أي مركب, you will decide the charge, you will determine the charge. So it's +2 or +3. Okay? So please keep that in your consideration. So this is a revision because we are going to use it, okay? Now, without waiting, let's go and learn what are the steps that we use to balance a redox reaction using the half reaction method. So again, a half reaction is one of the two parts of a redox reaction. يا إما الأكسيديشن half أو reduction half. إحنا الحين عندنا تفاعل كيميائي عادي. اوكي synthesis reaction. ال Fe تتحد مع ال Cl وتكون لي المركب الأيوني FeCl3. اوكي so we can break this into two parts. The oxidation number here is 0. الشحنة وإحنا الشحنة 0. Remember from section 1. Now in here, because this is an ionic compound, okay, sorry, the charge of Fe here is +3 and the charge of Cl is -1. كيف عرفنا؟ لأنه Cl موجودة في جروب 17 شحنتها -1. فإذا شحنتها -1 فهي الثلاثة اللي تحت هي شحنة ال Fe. اوكي شوف ال Fe كانت 0 وصارت +3. معناها oxidation ولا reduction؟ Yes, exactly, معناها oxidation. Because then oxidation number increased. Now the charge here was 0 and it became -1. So it's reduction, right? So if we write oxidation and reduction as two reactions, we can write it like this. So Fe كانت شحنة الصفر صارت +3 وطبعا +3 معناها فقدت 3 إلكترونات شفناها في section 1, right? It lost 3 electrons because the charge was 0 and it became +3. Now reduction كان عندي Cl2. طبعا لاحظوا أنا ما كتبت هاي الأشياء صح؟ ما أحتاجها. we remove the coefficients. نحذف المعاملات اللي موجودة عشان نكتب half reaction. Okay? So the charge here was 0 and it became -1. الشيء الوحيد or the most important thing that you need to do when you write the half reaction, because we have 2Cl here, we will put 2 here. But we don't take the numbers from here, okay? We balance it again. And because it was 0 it became -1 معناها اكتسبت إلكترون. لكن أنا كان عندي من حبة حبتين. فكل واحدة أخذت إلكترون. That's why I put 2 electrons here. Okay? And these are some examples of the oxidation half reaction and the reduction half reaction. هذه هي التفاعلات الأصلية، وهذا الأكسيديشن هاف، وهذا الريدكشن هاف. حق كل تفاعل من هاي التفاعلات، يعني كل تفاعل ممكن أقسمه لقسمين، قسم oxidation وقسم reduction. ولاحظوا إنه يكون فيهم الإلكترونات. Okay? So you can have a look at this table, and yeah, if you have any question about it, you can tell me later. We can discuss it inshallah. So let's see here. Okay. So what are the two parts of a redox reaction, or what is it called? It's called a half reaction. Okay. Now we learned what's a half reaction. It's either an oxidation reaction or a reduction reaction. There are some important questions that we need to ask ourselves, okay, before we balance the redox reaction. First of all, does the reaction happen in an acidic or a basic solution? Okay. And what are the steps for the reactions for an acidic solution? Okay. يعني هل التفاعل يحصل في محيط acidic أو في محيط basic؟ You will see it later. Medium معناها محيط أو وسط، يعني وسط حمضي أو وسط قاعدي. مش معناها وسط اللي هو وسط سنتر، no، معناها وسط يعني البيئة المحيطة. Okay. There are steps for balancing in an acidic solution and there are steps for balancing in a basic solution. We will start with the steps, the normal steps. Okay. First of all, in the example you have in page 170, and then we will discuss later the most important things. For example, let's look at this reaction. Fe plus CuSO4 gives you Cu plus Fe2SO4. Okay? Now, this is the reaction. Okay? What's the half reaction method? طبعا the first thing إنه تفكك هذا التفاعل into reduction half and oxidation half. اوكي. كيف نسويها؟ عشان نسويها لازم نفكك المعادلة تصير معادلة أيونية. We need an ionic equation. What does that mean? It means every AQ that we have, we need to break it into positive and negative ion. Okay. لأنه في ثلاثة هني، الثلاثة هاي جاية من ال Fe. So ال Fe شحنتها plus 3 and the SO4 شحنتها minus 2. Now خلنا نلاحظ شيء معين. Let's observe something. Look at Fe here. Fe here has a charge of 0, right? Cu here has a charge of 0. Look at SO4 and SO4. It's the same, did not change, right? So we can remove it. Alright? ال Fe كانت 0 شحنتها الأكسيديشن number. Now it became positive 3. The Cu was positive 2 and it became 0. So we have the reduction and the oxidation. And this is what's written here. So the first step, write unbalanced, يعني اكتب معادلة غير موزونة. يعني شيل, remove every numbers here. All the numbers that you find here, remove them. Okay? Write it down and then remove spectator ions. Spectator ions اللي هم الأيونات الموجودة في اليمين وفي اليسار نفسهم بالضبط. يعني مثلا إذا عندنا A plus B minus gives us B minus plus C plus, البي ماينس موجودة في اليسار وموجودة في اليمين نحذفها. الاس او 4 ماينس 2 والاس او 4 ماينس 2 موجودة في اليسار وفي اليمين نحذفهم نفس ما حذفتهم فوق هنا. Okay, so we are left with this one. Okay, so we are left with this one. بتقولون أستاذ or Mr, why do we have 2FE here? Why didn't we remove the 2? Because this 2 is coming from here. ال 2 اللي هني لأنه في المركب نفسه I have 2FE, that's why I wrote it down. So you can notice that ال Fe to 2Fe plus 3 is oxidation. Yeah, because the oxidation number was 0 and became plus 3. And from Cu plus 2 to Cu it is a reduction. Alright? Because it was Cu plus 2 and it became Cu. فهذا الهاف وهذا other half. So step number 2 نكتب الاكسيديشن part لوحده والreduction part لوحده. Okay? Now we need to add balance the equation. Okay? Each equation alone. So balance the atoms in the half reactions. يعني أنا الحين عندي a half reaction here, right? كم حبة Fe عندي هني؟ 2 صح؟ وهني بس واحدة. So I will put 2 here. كم حبة Cu عندي هني؟ واحدة وهني واحدة. That's it. Don't balance the charge, balance the number of Cu's. الcharge مش عدد الCU اللي عندك. The charge is the charge. Okay? So that's what you have here. Alright? After that, balance the charges in each half reaction. Again, هذا half reaction اللي هو oxidation وهذا half reaction which is reduction. Okay? So let's check here. كم الشحنة اللي عندنا في الطرف اليمين عند النواتج البرودكتس؟ We have 2 multiplied by plus 3. So we have plus 6. Here we have 0. Okay? So now we need to add electrons to balance the charges. Now this is oxidation. Oxidation معناها الإلكترونات تكون برا. So have a look here. Because this is oxidation, the charge here is plus 6. Remember? 2 ضرب الشحنة اللي فوق. وهني 0. إذا ضفنا 6 إلكترونات كم بتصير الشحنة اللي هني؟ plus 6 minus 6 equals 0. And the charge here is 0. So the charge is balanced. Okay? يعني إحنا نسوي balance للcharges. How do we do that? By adding electrons. لأنه هذا redox reaction. هذا تفاعل reduction و oxidation. ففي انتقال للإلكترونات. Remember? We saw this at the beginning. Now قبل لا نحط الإلكترونات هنا كان عندي the charge here was plus 2 and the charge here was 0. Okay? This is a reduction معناها تمتص إلكترونات or get electrons. So it will be plus 2e. Sorry. إذا ضفت إلكترونين هني like in here, the charge here is plus 2, the charge here is minus 2. إذا جمعتهم بيصير 0 والcharge هني 0. So the charges now are the same. Okay? This is this step. نعادل الcharges في البرودكتس والreactants بإضافة إلكترونات. إذا كان الأكسيديشن نضيف الإلكترونات في البرودكتس لأن الإلكترونات تطلع. إذا كان reduction نضيف الإلكترونات في المتفاعلات. Okay? We know this from section 1. Now the next step, adjust the coefficients so that the number of electrons lost in oxidation equals the number of electrons gained in reduction. لازم نخلي الإلكترونات هني وهني متساويات. كيف؟ هني عندي 6. I have 6 here. I have 2 here. If I multiply this by 3, what will I get? هاي بتصير 3، هاي بتصير 6 and this one will become 3. See, I have same number of electrons. Okay, now we add the two equations, add the half reactions, this one and this one, add them together and cancel the same terms or the same things that are in both sides. كيف نضيف؟ So we have 2Fe gives me 2Fe plus 3 plus 6E, and we have 3Cu plus 2 plus 6E gives me 3Cu. نضيف المتفاعلات the reactants together، نضيفهم مع بعض والproducts together. So we will get 2Fe plus 3Cu plus 2 plus 6E gives me 2Fe plus 3 plus 6E plus 3Cu, right? Now look، عندي في اليسار 6E وفي اليمين 6E. We remove them, so we are left with this one. الحين مهم جدا إنه السؤال بيجيكم بيقولكم you will stop in step 5. This will be your final solution. ما في داعي إن احنا to return the spectator ions if desired. Okay? يقول لك إذا تحبون you can return the spectator ions. What is the spectator ion؟ اللي حذفناه في بداية التفاعل، لأنه في التفاعل كان عندنا SO4-2 تذكرونه؟ نقدر نرجعه. لكن عموما في الأسئلة اللي عندكم في الكتاب and in the final exam you will start from here, not from up. You will start from here. They will give you the ionic equation. Step 1 ما بتحتاجونها لأنه already بتكون مسوية. Okay? So you just need to follow the other steps. We will stop here and then we will continue inshallah the second part later on. Okay, so Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Hello everyone. Now we are still in section 2, okay, of chapter 5, redox reactions, balancing redox reactions. We finished part 1 yesterday, I mean in the previous video, and now we'll go to the second part, solve some examples and then finish the lesson. Okay, so remember, these are our goals: to know the steps for balancing redox reactions in an acidic medium, and to use these steps and the half reaction method to balance redox reactions in acidic medium and in a basic medium. Okay, so yesterday we covered the basics. We went through the half reaction. What's the meaning of a half reaction? Meaning a redox reaction that we can break down into the oxidation half and the reduction half, and we add the electrons for oxidation in the product side لأن تفقد إلكترونات فتطلع like exothermic process, and reduction meaning absorbing electrons or gaining electrons. So the electrons are in the reactants, and we use the oxidation numbers لو تتذكرون اللي هو الدرس الأول من الشابتر to know which one is oxidized and which one is reduced. So for example, here in Fe, the oxidation number is 0 and Cl2 oxidation number is 0 because these are normal atoms. And in this ionic compound, Fe is +3 and Cl is -1. So from 0 to +3 it's oxidation, from 0 to -1 it's reduction لأنه قل عدد الأكسدة أو oxidation number. And we went through the steps we use to balance redox reactions in general. Okay, this is what you have in the book, page 170. But now we are going to go into the detailed steps, okay, for balancing the redox equations using the half reaction method. So again, it's very similar to what we saw yesterday, but now we are going to add something new, meaning in an acidic solution or a basic solution. Okay, so when you study, follow these steps, okay, these ones here. Now, many steps are shared in acidic and basic medium. So from steps number 1 to 7, they are the same in the acidic and basic medium, okay, which you will see. So the first step is write the unbalanced equation in an ionic form. شو معنى ionic form؟ معناها أي مادة AQ أفككها to positive and the negative ion. Unbalanced meaning أشيل coefficients من المعادلة. For example, if I have 2A plus 2B gives me, let's see, 2AB. I need to remove these. Remove the coefficients, okay? Now, this step, هاي الخطوة مش بالضرورة إن هي إنكم تسووها، لأنه معظم الأوقات حتى في المسائل عندكم في الكتاب even in the problems in your book this is already given, it's already done to you, okay, and you will see that. Now the second step, as always, you need to break down the reaction into the oxidation half and the reduction half, right? The two half reactions نفس ما تعلمنا في الفيديو السابق, the oxidation one and the reduction. After that you are going to do some steps for every half, يعني كل نصف بتسوي الخطوات التالية. Balance any element other than oxygen and hydrogen. So start with balancing, so in each half, so you will do this to the oxidation half and the reduction half, okay? Balance any element other than oxygen and hydrogen, okay? Now if you have oxygen and hydrogen, إذا عندنا oxygen و hydrogen في التفاعل, this is what we are going to do. We are going to balance oxygen by adding water. So O, we are going to balance it by adding water. You will see what I mean, okay? And we are going to balance hydrogen by adding the H+. Again, you are going to see what I'm talking about in the next example. So just follow these steps. Now, let's continue. So we stopped in step 5. After that, balance the charge by adding suitable number of electrons. Remember, for example, if you have A plus gives me A, okay, this is of course a reduction, صح؟ لأنه كان positive 1 وصار 0, oxidation number قل. We need to balance the charges. شو معنى balance the charge؟ معناها الشارج في المتفاعلات لازم تساوي الشارج في النواتج. What's the charge here? It's +1. Because this plus here is +1. The charge here is 0. There's nothing. So because this is a reduction, the electrons will be here in the left side, absorbed, gaining. فشو صارت الشحنة الحين؟ صارت -1 + 1 تساوي 0. So 0 here, 0 here. Now you balance the charges, okay? If you have something like this, okay, what will be the charge here? It will be 2 ضرب +2, meaning +4. Why? Because 2A plus 2 معناها كم عندنا من حبة A؟ معناها عندنا 1 and 2. What's the sum of the charges? +2 and +2, it's +4. So I need to add 4 electrons here. So that -4 and +4 will give us 0, like here. Okay? So this is how we balance the charge. Now, after you do that, طبعا you do this to the oxidation half and the reduction half. كل تفاعل نصفي. After you do that, sometimes you will find the number of electrons, let's say here 3 electrons and here 2 electrons. You need to multiply the equations so that they have the same number of electrons. So multiply this by 2 and this by 3. Now you will have 6 electrons here and 6 electrons here. لأن الإلكترونات المفقودة في الأكسيديشن هي نفسها لازم تكون الإلكترونات المكتسبة في الريدكشن. Okay? So balance the number of electrons for the two reactions, two half reactions. Now, من الخطوة 1 إلى الخطوة 7, it doesn't matter if you are in an acidic solution or a basic solution. Okay? طبعا هو كيف نعرف إنه في acidic solution أو basic solution؟ هو بيقولك في السؤال إنه أنت الميديوم تبعك acidic or basic, so you will know which steps to use. Now after you finish step 7, the next steps will depend on the medium. Is it acidic or basic? If it is in an acidic solution, just add the two equations to have reactions اللي هو الأكسيديشن والريدكشن، نجمعهم نفس ما شفنا في الفيديو السابق and write the final balanced equation. Okay, cancel anything that you see on the left and on the right, like if it's same or not. And yeah, that's it. Check the charges, that the charges are the same on the left and on the right, and so on. طبعا you will see an example about that. Okay, طبعا هذا if the solution is acidic. Now if the solution is basic, you will add up the two equations like step 8 بس في step زايدة. Okay, you will add to the right and the left sides number of hydroxide ions OH minus equal to the H plus and eliminate water molecules. What does that mean? تخيلوا لما وصلنا لستيب 8 جمعنا المعادلات وصار عندنا A plus 3H plus gives us, say here, let's say it's like this. Okay, here plus B, here will be B minus 4 plus H2O. مثلا لما جمعنا المعادلات وصلنا لستيب 8 we have this thing here. Okay, well, of course it's not the same, but let's say 4 H's and this is minus 5 and this was 2. Well, regardless of let's say this is BO2, so you have 2O 2O 4H. The charge here is plus 5 لأن plus the charge here is also plus 5. هذا مثال فقط. اوكي، شو معنى هاي الخطوة؟ كم عندي من H plus هني؟ عندي 4 صح؟ So what I'm going to do في هاي الخطوة add to the left and the right number of hydroxide ions same as H plus. So I'll add here 4OH minus and I will add here 4OH minus. Okay, so what will happen now, 4OH minus will 4H plus تتذكرون المعادلة OH minus plus H plus gives us water, right? So what will happen is that I will remove these and it will give me 4H2O. And now notice you have H2O here, right? And H2O on the left. So this one will go, طبعا هني 2 وهني بيروح منها 2, so بيتم 2H2O. And this is the final equation. Like, it's not correct 100%, but these are the steps that we will see for the basic solution. Okay, all right. So this question, which can be added to either side of the equation when balancing equations in an acidic solution? So remember, we said we balance oxygen by adding H2O, and we balance hydrogen by adding H plus. So it will be answer number B. تمام? You can stop the video, go through the steps again before we move to an example. Okay. Now, this example you have in page 171, example طويل. I don't like how the book explained it. Okay, by the way, these steps, هاي الخطوات مش موجودة في الكتاب، موجودة عندكم في حل الإكزامبلز بس مش موضحة نفس هاي الخطوات. So it's better to study it from here or from the YouTube videos on LMS. Okay, so the question says balance the redox equation for the reaction below using half reaction method اللي هي الخطوات اللي تعلمناها. طبعا إذا ما قال لكم this reaction happens in an acidic or basic medium. إذا ما ذكر شيء معناها acidic، تعتبرون إنه acidic. أوكي، so acidic medium يعني بنستخدم الخطوات من 1 إلى 8 هني. We'll stop here. Will not, because it's an acidic solution. Okay, so you have this equation here. طبعا الخطوة الأولى كانت إنه this equation we write it in unbalanced equation in ionic form. This will be already given to you, okay, like you will see in the book. So that's why I'm already showing it to you here, okay, because what you are going to do is that you are going to break each أي مركب فيه AQ, you are going to break it down, okay, and remove water. So there's no need for you to focus on this. This will be given to you. So الخطوة الأولى بتكون already متساوية. All you need to do now, all you need to do is go. So this is, if you remember, step 1 given to you. Now if you remember step 2, we need to write the oxidation half, right, and the reduction half. مين اللي صار فيه oxidation ومين اللي صار فيه reduction. Okay, you don't need to know everything, you just need to know one of them. For example, look at SN here. كم كانت الcharge حقتها؟ It was +2, right, and it became +4. So do you think that's the oxidation number increased? So do you think that is oxidation or reduction? Of course it is oxidation. Well done. So it will be SN +2 gives us SN +4. فما دام انه هذا oxidation اكيد الباقي هو reduction. Okay, so there's طبعا ممكن تكونوا انتم ناسين الMN هني شو oxidation number, but if you remember section 1 we know that oxygen is always -2. خلينا نسويها فوق هني. So MnO4 minus الأكسجين here we know that الأكسيديشن نمبر حق Mn plus 4 ضرب الأكسيديشن نمبر of NO يساوي -1. ليش -1؟ لأنه في شحنة فوقني. الدرس الأول هنعرف إنه الأكسيديشن نمبر of oxygen equals -2، فهاي كلها راح تصير 4 ضرب -2 يعني -8. لما نحل المعادلة NMN will be +7. So this one here is actually +7. من +7 صارت ل +2 فأكيد reduction. So you write MnO4. حتى لو ما عرفتوها ما في مشكلة. ليش؟ لأنه خلاص طلعتوا الأكسيديشن فالباقي أكيد هو reduction. Gives us Mn +2. Okay. Now من step الحين خلصنا step 1 كانت معطية. step 2 already كتبناها اللي هي write the two half reaction. الحين الستبس من 3 4 5 and 6 we are going to use it in every half. So steps from 3 4 5 and 6, okay, we are going to use it for every reaction that we have. What does that mean? And we'll repeat it 2 times. 1 time for oxidation half, 1 time for the reduction. Okay. So actually, let's go to the oxidation half. اللي هو MnO4 gives us Mn +2. عفوا, this was the reduction half, and you will see why I started with that. So let's go to the reduction half. Okay. Now the second step was balance, or the next steps balance any element other than oxygen and hydrogen. هل احنا عندنا أي عناصر من غير الأكسجين والهيدروجين؟ أيوة، عندنا Mn here and Mn here. We have one piece, one atom and 1 atom. So there is no need to balance anything, if you remember. So balance any element other than oxygen and hydrogen. ال Mn في اليمين هي نفسها ال Mn في اليسار، نفس العدد. Okay? The next step, you balance oxygen if you have it by adding water. So what does that mean? So I will have MnO4 اسمي Mn plus 2. كم حبة oxygen عندي هنا؟ 4, right? So what should I do? You think that I should put plus 4O, right? And that's it. No. We balance it by adding water. What does that mean? You need to add water, H2O. I have 4 oxygens here, and water has 1 oxygen only. So how many water molecules should I add? How many water molecules should I add? 4. Because now I have 4 oxygens. Okay? Do you see how that is done? Now I have something new. Let's go back. We balanced oxygen with water. Now balance hydrogen by adding H+. At the beginning, you didn't have hydrogen. Look here, you didn't have hydrogen. But when you added water, now you have hydrogen. How many hydrogens do you have? 4 times 2, 8. How do we balance hydrogen? We balance hydrogen by adding H+. So I come here, I add how many hydrogens? 8H+. Okay? So you balance oxygen first. You balance أي عنصر غير الأكسجين والهيدروجين. Mn is already balanced. Then you balance oxygen if you have it. If you don't have oxygen, you don't need steps 4 and 5. Okay? If you have oxygen, balance it with water. So if you have 4 oxygens here, add 4 water molecules. 5, 5, 6, 6, and so on. Okay? And depending on the oxygens you have on the right as well. ممكن يكون عندنا مثلا هني oxygen ثانية، فلازم أحط 3. ليش؟ لأن 1 plus 3 gives us 4. When you add water, you will add hydrogen with it. So you need to balance that as well. So you have 8 hydrogen atoms. So you balance hydrogen by adding the H+. Okay? Now if you remember, the next step was to balance the charge by adding suitable number of electrons. Okay? طبعا مدام because you know that this is a reduction, you know that the electrons will be in the reactant side. لأنه هذا reduction، فأكيد الإلكترونات بتكون في الطرف اليسار. Because we know that about reduction, gaining electrons. So they are in the reactant side. Now let's check the charges here. So the charge in this place, I have only +2. Here is 0, okay? And how many Mn do I have here? 1. So 1 times +2, here I will have +2. What about here? My apologies, I forgot the sign. So I have a sign here, minus sign, okay? You can see it here. The charge in here will be 8 times +1, so +8. And how many of this do I have? Only 1, right? So 1 times -1 equals +7. So how many electrons should I add here to make +7 equals +2? Exactly, I should add 5 electrons, because now the new charge will be +8 -1 وعندي 5 إلكترونات بعد -5. So it will be +2. So now the charge is balanced. So now the final equation is 5e plus 8h plus MnO4 minus gives us Mn plus 2 plus 4H2O. Okay, so this is the reduction half. Very good. Now let's look at the oxidation half. oxidation half أسهل بكثير and you will see why. So oxidation half was Sn plus 2 gives us Sn plus 4. So yeah, so I have one Sn, one Sn. Okay, steps. This was step number 3. Okay, now you balance any element other than oxygen. So I have Sn here and I have Sn here. So it's already done. It's already balanced, 1 and 1. Balance oxygen and hydrogen. Now, luckily, we don't need steps 4 and 5. Why? Because we don't have oxygen and hydrogen. So we will skip. We will go directly to the charge. Okay, so the charge here is plus 2. The charge here is plus 4. And you know this is oxidation. So you need to add electrons in the product side. فكيف نخلي plus 4 equals plus 2? You just add 2 electrons because now the charge will be plus 2. Same. Alright? And this is the oxidation half. So now when you are here, you go to step number 7. طبعا double check that everything is good. 1mn, 1mn, 8h, 8h, 4o, 4o. Charges are good. Charges are good here as well. If you go to the next step, balance the number of electrons for the two half reactions. شو معناها الخطوة هاي؟ معناها عدد الإلكترونات اللي في الأكسيديشن هاف لازم يساوي عدد الإلكترونات اللي في الريدكشن هاف. Okay? We need to do that. We need to make them equal. Here I have 5 and here I have 2. What's the nearest multiple of 5 and 2? Well done, it's 10. يعني هاي المعادلة أضربها في 2 وهاي المعادلة أضربها في 5. So what you will get is the following. You will get 10E plus 16H plus 2MnO4 minus. لما نضرب, when we say we multiply by 2, نضرب المعادلة كلها, كل شيء. Gives us 2Mn plus 2 plus 8H2O. Okay? Now, oxidation half multiplied by 5, right? Multiplied it by 5, so it will be 5 Sn plus 2 gives us 5 Sn plus 4 plus 10 electrons. Okay? So now what was the last step? Now that you have these, just add them. Do you remember Hess's law? Hess's law من الفصل الأول لما كنا نجمع المعادلات نجمع المتفاعلات مع بعض والنواتج مع بعض. So when you add these, you will get, طبعا you know that 10E here الإلكترونات تنحذف مع بعض. ليش؟ لأنه واحدة في اليسار وواحدة في اليمين. Okay? So when we write it down, it will be 16H plus 2MnO4 minus plus 5Sn plus 2 gives us 2Mn plus 2 plus 8H2O plus 5Sn plus 4. الإلكترونات راحت مع بعض بتنحذف لأن بيكون here plus 10E and here plus 10E, so it will go. Okay? Check your solution. You have 16H, 2Mn, 8 oxygens, 5Sn, شوف الشحنات هني كم. It's plus 2 و2, so plus 4 زائد 5 في 4 20, so it's plus 24. Let's check here. It will be here plus 16, here minus 2 here plus 10. نجمع هذيلا كم راح يعطينا plus 24. Same as here. This is your final solution. Okay, usually they will tell you to stop here. احنا المفروض نركب المعادلة نفس هاي اللي فوق with a new balancing like to balance it really. But in your exam, in the book, they will ask you only for this. Okay, maybe they will ask if it's a challenge question, but even in the challenge question it's not there, so you're not required to do that as per the problems in the book. مسائل الكتاب هيك في الإكزامبل حاللها هو مركبها، لكن في البروبلمز في المسائل يطلب منك بس هاي المعادلة النهائية اللي هي in the ionic form، اللي هي في الأيونيك فورم. ليش اسمها الأيونيك فورم في الحالة الأيونية؟ لأنه في أيونات كلها بلس 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 بلس. okay, plus minus plus minus. And these are the steps. So I know they seem difficult، لكن لأنه أنا بشرح شوي شوي ومثال وأرجع وأرد وأسأل it seems too long. But actually if you know the steps it will not take you more than 5 minutes to do it if you really practiced well. Okay, you will start from here, you will end up here. These are the solutions that we went through. So الحلول بعد موجودة هنا عندكم في الباوربوينت with all the steps. Okay, so everything that we have done, check the charges added and everything. Okay, station, and then all the steps when we multiplied by 5 and 2 if you remember, and then you just add them together. 10e goes with 10e, and then you have the following equation اللي هي طلعناها قبل شوي. طبعا في الكتاب طبعا as I told you this would be the final answer in the ionic form. Okay, you can also go through these solutions. All right, yeah. Yeah, you can restore the spectator ions, but usually this will be your final answer. Okay, now I want you to try on your own. These are the steps. Use the half reaction method to balance the redox equations. Begin with writing the oxidation and reduction half reactions اللي هي الخطوة الثانية. ليش؟ لأنه الخطوة الأولى هاي شوف هو already معطي لك إياها في الأيونيك فورم، فهاي step 1 done for you. شوف معطي لك في الأيونيك فورم. So you will go directly to step 2. You start here. Okay, وهني محدد لك acidic solution ويقول لك leave the balanced equation in the ionic form. شفتوا كيف؟ So like this. Once you reach step 8, when you add the two equations and cancel electrons, that will be your final solution. Okay, so try this. We are going to see it together, do it together in the class inshallah. Okay, so please watch this video and do it so that we can practice on it in the classroom. Try your best. You can check your solution actually here. Okay, do it yourself first and then check your solution.